Hey guys, Leah B here. Welcome to Badass Yoga, 15 minutes. I've decided every other week I'm going to do a yin class, and then the next week it'll be a flow class, and it'll just go back and forth. Yin, flow, yin, flow. We're going to balance it out. I'm going to have a theme for every month. This month, my theme has been detox and renew. And we've been doing a lot of twisting and working into our spine. And that's what we're going to do tonight for yin. If you're new to yin yoga, that's all good. This is a chill practice. I'm in my comfy clothes. I'm wearing my comfy socks. Make sure you're cozy. For the yin yoga practice, I highly suggest you have some props. As you can see behind me, I have my blanket. I feel like a blanket is non-negotiable in yin. Grab a blanket that you can fold up and pad underneath you. You're going to need this for under your knees today. You're going to want to have something to sit on. It's also nice to have like a bolster. I've got my bolster there. You can see that pile in between the blanket and bolster. Those are scarves. I love having two scarves so I can kind of wedge them under my hips in certain practices, certain poses. And then blocks if you have them. But if you have nothing, like honestly, a folded up blanket and maybe a couple bed pillows for extra support is great. So grab your props right now. And we're going to do a little bit of a twisting sequence. So come to your yoga mat and fold up your blanket. As you can see, I folded my blanket up and I pushed it all the way to the edge of my yoga mat. So I ask that you sit on your blanket, and we're going to come straight into a butterfly pose to start our practice today. So sitting up on the blanket, and you want to have it so that it's angling your pelvis down. So you might not be able to see, but I'm right on the edge of my blanket. And it's so that my pelvis is tilting and pointing toward the ground instead of kind of leaning back in a bowl-like manner. And then we're going to bring the soles of your feet together in front of you and take them away from your groin. So you're making a nice little diamond shape here. Inhale to lengthen up through your spine. As you exhale, lead with your heart forward. And you know, you can also grab your props. I'm going to grab my props too. These scarves are my favorite. You can also use blocks, but I like to shove these underneath my legs here. So as you inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, lead with your heart forward. Try to keep your spine nice and long. And then once you feel like you're stopping and you can't go any further, start to settle in, round into the pose. Allow the head just to hang heavy. You might even want to bend into your elbows and support your head with your hands if you'd like. We're going to be here the longest. This is our first pose. We're going to get centered in our yin practice. I'm going to start the timer. We'll be here 3 minutes. So I don't know if you are familiar with yin, but I'm going to give you a few little pointers to guide you today in your practice. We have 3 guiding principles in yin yoga. The first is to come into the pose at an appropriate depth. So that in yoga speak, that means find your edge. Come to where the pose feels a little bit uncomfortable, but manageable. We never push into pain. It's about a 7 out of 10 for sensation. Once you're there, you're going to resolve to remain still. So trying not to fidget or adjust once you've arrived. That is why we come to our edge and not past our edge, because then you're going to want to adjust yourself. Give yourself time. And that's the third principle. Hold the pose for time. So come into the pose at an appropriate depth, resolve to remain still, and hold the pose for time. Those are our guiding principles of this practice. Close your eyes and just start to travel inward. Notice where you feel the pose. And just notice how your breath affects the pose. Try to breathe slowly, steadily, fully. And with every inhale, you're creating a little bit of space. And every exhale, you're moving a little deeper into that space and surrendering to gravity. We have 1 more minute here. In this final minute, just notice if there's any space you can move into. The answer could be no. But in this practice, we're practicing letting go of muscular effort, and just surrendering into the pose. letting your body take over, letting gravity take over, and trying to let go of anything that's holding you in this pose. Like your muscles usually tense up in poses like this. So it's about bringing your attention into those areas and letting a little bit of release happen. Take one last deep, deep breath here. And let it go nice and slow. Slowly press into your hands, walk your hands up. Use your hands to help your knees up, bring the soles of your feet to the floor. And you'll take your knees nice and wide and just windshield wiper side to side to release it. Move nice and slow with intention. Sometimes in yin, the magic happens coming out of the pose. Okay, coming back into that position, that butterfly position. So if you had props, I highly recommend in this one, you prop yourself up a little bit. So if you don't have the scarves or pillows or blankets to wedge under here, just find something that's comfortable that you can squish underneath. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee and your right hand behind you. You can even have your right hand on a block if that feels good. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, twist to your right. Think about bringing your right shoulder blade into its socket. And just breathing here. I'm just going to start our timer. So this is just a gentle spinal twist. The effort is very minimal here. Think about using your breath to twist. So every inhale, you're lengthening up through the crown of the head. And every exhale, you're just putting a little bit of pressure into your hands to twist, but not forcing it too much. It's your breath that's helping you twist out all the kinks in your spine. And really just bringing your attention into your body. How do you feel? How do I feel today? That's a question you can ask. Take one last big breath here. And let it go nice and slow. Come back to center. Take a big breath in, center. And as you exhale, come toward the left. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Place that left hand on a block or a book or something that's a little higher if you like. It feels a little bit more comfortable to do that. And again, with every inhale, your spine lengthens. And with every exhale, you use your hands and your spine to twist a little bit more. And starting our timer. The yin practice is about going inward and paying attention, not only to the sensations that you're feeling here in the pose, which is important, but also notice your thoughts that are passing through your mind. Notice what type of things are popping into your head when you're here in one pose for an extended amount of time. Remember, yoga is union and it's connection. It's not only with yourself, but with your community. You're connecting your mind to your body and your body to your mind and your heart to your community. Taking one last deep breath here and bringing it back to center. Stretch your legs out long in front of you and just kind of lean back onto your hands for a minute, maybe even pressing your chest in between your arms, just kind of arching your back just to open up your lower back a little bit here. Find a little bit of length, point your toes, and then coming up to center. We're gonna come right into a dragon pose now. It's gonna be awesome. Super fiery. Use your blanket and maybe some blocks under your hands or something for underneath your hands if you'd like. So fold your blanket, place it across your mat. This is gonna be for your back knee for support. Starting in table on hands and knees, step your right foot between your hands and your left knee will be on the blanket. Ensure your right knee stacked over your right ankle and walk your left knee back as far as is comfortable. Bring the top of your left foot to the floor and inhale to come up. This is dragon pose. Take a nice deep breath here. And as you exhale, bring your hands to either side of your right foot. Now bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot and walk your right foot out just a little bit so that you can bring your right hand directly underneath your right shoulder. So we're just in this like dragon pose, low lunge pose. Just take a couple of breaths here and just notice how it feels to be here. And you can also have blocks under your hands or a book if you need to come higher. If being down here is not your friend today at all, then come back up onto your knee, whatever works. We're going to take this directly into a twist. So first we're going to come onto the baby toe edge. So come onto the baby toe edge of your right foot and open up your right knee like a book. So it's like opening it up like a book. Hands can stay down. Now bring your right hand to your right knee and press it away. So it's like a pressing away action. And we're twisting. Think about your right shoulder blade squeezing into your back. Keep your chest open. So don't be hunching forward. Chest is open. I'm going to start a timer here. And just stay in this dragon, this twisted dragon pose. As long as you can come out of it anytime, but I still encourage you to just keep that dragon shape, so the low lunge variation. But if you can hold this twist for a minute, hold it for a minute. Working into your hips and your spine here. Look over your right shoulder and just breathe. Focus on those nice inhales and exhales, full breaths. Taking one last deep breath here. And let it go nice and slow, coming back to center. Start to shift your hips back so they stack over that back knee. Bring your right knee to meet your left. Feel free to remain here in table and take cat and cow or downward facing dog is my preference in this situation with dragon pose. The downward dog helps to work it out, but your choice. You can also take child's pose, whatever feels good. Dropping back down into a table pose with your knees on the blanket. This time, step your left foot between your hands. Walk your right knee back. And come up onto your left knee, sitting upright for just a moment. Take a couple breaths here. Hands come down to the mat on either side. Walk your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Walk your left foot out to the side. Your toes are still pointing forward here. You're almost wanting to like glue your left knee towards your left tricep, but don't press into it. Just allow them to rest against each other here. So we're in this dragon low lunge. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Keep your right hand planted on the mat and your left hand is going to come to your left knee. Come to the baby toe edge of your left foot. Open up your knee like a book and you're pressing the knee away with your left hand. Lengthen your spine, look over your left shoulder and close your eyes and breathe. Notice where you feel it and where you can soften. Where can you let go? Yin yoga is not about stretching. It's actually about getting past the muscular effort and stressing the deeper tissues, your joints, ligaments, tendons, fascia, all of that more plastic material in the body that is not necessarily flexible. You wouldn't want to stretch a tendon or stretch a joint, but you can put stress on those areas in a healthy way, and that is what the purpose of this practice is. One of the purposes. Take one last deep breath in this pose. And let it go. Come back to center. Start to shift your hips back so they stack over that right knee, and then bring your left knee to meet your right. And again, cat-cows, downward facing dog, whatever feels good for you. I'm going to take a downward dog here today just because that's what my body needs. And dropping down onto your knees, take your knees nice and wide. Bring your big toes to touch. Shift your hips back, wide knee child's pose. Stretch your arms forward, bring your forehead to the mat, and just settle in. If you'd like to prop yourself up in any way using a bolster or cushions, feel free to do that. We're only going to be here for a few breaths. Consider this your Shavasana. So just allow everything just to be heavy. Let everything go. And just enjoy a few moments here in peace. And slowly start to press into your hands, lift yourself up. Move your props, keep your eyes low or closed, and just sit on your mat in cross-legged seat or any other way that feels comfortable for you. And bring your hands to heart center if that feels right for you. And we'll just take a moment to close our practice here in gratitude. Just be grateful that you showed up for yourself today. Put in a little bit of time on your mat. Even if it's just 15 minutes is always better than 0 minutes. So be grateful that you showed up today and did something for you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Namaste. Hey Yogi, Leah B here. If you enjoyed this class, why not catch the next one live? I host free 15-minute yoga for active bodies classes every week. All you have to do is head over to leahyogachick.com and register, and I'll send you the Zoom link. See you there.